We'll be underway in a second, everybody. Mitch is just trying to get his crap together. Oh, we're live now.
Oh, we're live. Hey. Now let me have my notes open because I don't improv. I'm sure I'd be logged in. Says 202.
You improv terribly. You ready?
Close enough.
All right, I'm going to put the screen back out for a second. Shh. Don't say anything. I said shh.
Oh.
Coming up on ECG, prepare for more lens flares in your Star Wars universe.
CBS phases critics out. Get it? Like the phasers in Star Trek.
We need new writers. Apocalypse could have been so much better with the original art.
Nintendo Direct Doom.
All this and more coming up on the East Coast Geek Podcast. Welcome to episode 112 of the East Coast Geek Podcast for Friday, September 15th, 2017, where we bring you all the latest news in comics, movies, and gaming. It's my father's birthday, and I'd like to wish him a happy birthday before we get started.
Mr. Jeremy's dad.
I'm your host, Jeremy, and with me, as always, is Opu and his awesome Spider-Man and Hulk, right?
It's my superhero daddy shirt.
Oh, superhero daddy shirt, okay.
Yeah. It's about the only thing that I can fit in right now because I'm so fat.
Excellent. Well, that's good news. We're glad that you're fat and happy.
Making a lot of assumptions there, except for the fat part.
Yeah, I guess. So what's been going on? Anything special?
Well,
how's your geek week?
You know, my week was okay. So you know, we're going to do a D&D campaign, or we're going to at least try to. So yeah, I've been really on like the miniature kicks. You know, I have a ton of miniatures.
Even though we'll physically not be in the same place.
Oh no, yeah. Well, still, I've got a bunch of like gray miniatures that I need to paint.
Okay.
And so I ended up breaking down. And hold on.
Seems like something you could have had.
A miniature painting kit.
Seems like something you could have had ready before we started. Oh, a miniature painting kit.
Well, it was
nice.
It was last second.
I just get my stuff. I just get my stuff from Joanne Fabrics. So.
Oh, well, I ordered that. But there's a Joanne across the street, but I'm too lazy to go there. And I also got this thing because it said, "Oh, well, a lot of people when they buy that, they buy this." I was like, "Oh, cool, I'll buy this."
Oh, you got hooked with the impulse buy.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Does it have a little? Is that a little stand to hold it so you can hold the miniature?
Yeah, it's got like little clippers and stuff to hold the thing. Oh, it might be. Oh shit. Oh, sorry. I just picture myself if you're listening to audio. But yeah, so it's got little clippers to like hold the pieces together. Now let me tell you, I am not happy with this buy because this magnifying glass piece is loose.
Oh no. And
so I left it like a bad review. I'm like, this thing's kind of like so it just came out. So I've got to either glue this piece in there and leave it tight, but like this piece is legit. You know, there's like plenty of ways you could pose and stuff. Trying to make sure that I'm on camera, right?
Maybe some super glue.
Yeah, I'm going to use some kind of super glue, or I don't know, but.
Well, you'll have to maybe you have to leave a review and also let us know how that painting kit goes. Because which one is that? I think I've seen that one before.
This is the Reaper Bones.
Oh, it is the Reaper
Perry's
Bones.
the one that recommended Reaper Bones, and since I did the Kickstarter campaign, as you know. Which we have a video of us unboxing this stuff and looking at it. I decided to go with their paints to try it out. And this is like the basic set, so it's only got like a handful of things. And it actually came with a couple of miniatures to practice on. So it only comes with just a few paints.
But it's got a bunch of holes for where you can go to a hobby shop and buy a bunch more paints and put it in there.
Right. And I really like how this is built. And yeah, I think I might do a painting session, like me learn how to paint this stuff on Twitch one day. I don't know if I'll do it this weekend or what, but
you'd be amazed when people watch that stuff.
Of stuff to try.
Did you hear me? I said you'd be amazed. People actually watch that stuff on Twitch. everything when Twitch opened the gates to being able to do things like this show and other things that aren't just strictly gameplay or talking about games, a lot of things happened. A lot of people just doing things like there's that one chick that God, I wish I could remember her name, but she does the body paint or the face and body paint like character. I have her saved. I'll have to share her link eventually, but really neat. I've watched a couple of the streams where she's just doing the paint, and she's just in front of the cameras in the mirror, just painting herself up to do the thing.
Oh, you like here?
So, there you go.
Substance figures that you can do it with. But yeah, I mean, they streamed Bob Ross's, the Joy of Painting. They streamed all the episodes of that on Twitch, and I think they still do occasionally. I think YouTube has it. And there's something therapeutic by watching somebody do art.
You just want to see them put little happy little trees in there.
Happy little trees and stuff. Yeah, and I do think it's kind of therapeutic. So that's what the kind of feel I would try to go for.
I think Adam's right. I think it's Kay Pike.
Kay Pike.
Yeah, she's pretty big.
The streamer.
Pretty big on Twitch.
But I don't really get on Twitch that much, so
you should, man. There's a lot of stuff, not just games, man. There's a lot of stuff now. There's the IRL channels too, where people are just walking around with their phones out. So, but anyways, so why don't we talk a little bit of Star Trek up front here, because that's quickly approaching, and I think that we probably have some incendiary comments that we can lodge at it. More photon torpedoes than the Voyager can carry and fired during its entirety of its seasons. It's like it's like 500 or 600, and they could only carry like 180 or 160 or something like that. I'm sure Adam probably knows.
Maybe they figured out a way to build them. They have scientists.
They even accounted for when they ran into refueling or rearming stations, and still too many. They even showed the count go up a little for the onboards, but they still fired way too many. Anyways, so CBS is about to launch its Discovery, right? Star Trek Discovery series. Discovery. And it's supposed to be, they said it's supposed to be anthology-like, so it's not going to be the same ship every year, which is kind of an interesting thought. They have a good cast, albeit one that's pretty disobedient, because they have the dude that played Draco Malfoy's dad, Lucius Malfoy. He was also the bad guy in what's the name of that one with Mel Gibson, the Revolutionary War one? God,
Patriot.
The Patriot. I cannot remember the actor's name.
There was also a Steven Spielberg movie named The Patriot, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways,
but yeah, it was
that
Patriot.
actor.
Remember he had the hatchets and stuff.
Yeah, that actor. He's very disobedient. He was on more than one occasion told not to say the word God. He's quite a religious gentleman. But yeah, they kept having to tell him to stop saying God because God apparently doesn't exist in Star Trek. So
people
Jason
still
Isaacs.
say by Odin's beard and stuff in real life.
Yeah.
They're trying to be drama queens, so.
It's Jason Isaacs. He's in one of my favorite horror movies of all time that Kay doesn't think is scary. The Event Horizon. Love that movie.
You don't think that's scary?
She doesn't think that's scary. She's kind of messed up. She's watched so many horror movies, it's ridiculous.
Well, I've watched a ton of horror movies too, and it's a good movie.
It's a great movie, but didn't fare well with the ratings. Okay, so anyways.
Real quick, the reason Event Horizon is scary is because it's not just what's happening on the screen, but so much of it is this really happening or is it not? Remember the ending of it where they open up the pod and she's like, "Ooh!" Well, it's a mind trip. That's where the horror lies. It's not just the gruesome things on the screen. Just like The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. A lot of it is in the suspense. Like the line where he goes, "If I was one of these things, how would I know and how would you know?" Or whatever. Right. That's obviously a paraphrase. That's where it's at, Kay.
The Thing is a horror thriller movie classic. It is, for going forward, if you can't replicate that to the point where I have the same feelings that I do when they're getting ready to, to test everybody and they're all looking at each other. The tension in that scene.
You
physically cut it with a knife. So anyway, so Event Horizon had a lot of that. But anyways, we're talking about a different spacefaring series. So CBS isn't allowing critics to have advanced copies of the show, and I think I know why.
I think there's a couple reasons.
Okay, so
we'll go with the main one. What's the main one?
So the main one is they want people to subscribe to their CBS app, and this is their big anchor, their giant anchor, because this is what they own. They own Star Trek TV series. If it fares terribly and people don't like it, then it's, people aren't going to subscribe, and they'll wait to pirate it or something. People aren't going to pay for what they don't like. So, if they get bad reviews, which it's going to be on TV, the first episode's going to be on TV for everyone to see, and then it's going to be on the streaming service. But I still think that if they're counting on a lot of initial sales, which they may not be as smart as the consumer, and the consumer might be waiting to see it on live TV to see what it's like, to see if it's worth the $10 or $15 a month they're going to pay for. So that's the main reason, and that's always the main reason, is money. Even that argument we had today, Mitch, it's about money. Anyways.
Yeah, well, that's different. Okay, so here's what I think. I got two reasons, and one I just came up with off the top of my head. They're trying to avoid leaks, like with Game of Thrones. There was a massive leak.
Hey,
not just through.
I got something to add to that. I just found out. Somebody said this week when I was talking to them, they said, "Hey, they are literally filming multiple endings to the final season of Game of Thrones to avoid leaks and spoilers." So, I want the final season on Blu-ray with all the endings on it. That's what I want.
That would be, yeah.
Kind of like Clue.
I've got the first couple of seasons on Blu-ray, so I need to get the rest of them.
Yeah, that'll be something good.
But that's one reason I think that they may not be wanting not giving early copies out. Two is, like you're saying, they want people to subscribe, so and this is a basic tactic that a lot of movie companies will do, is not screen early for critics because they know it's bad.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I've never understood that. Like, if you know it's bad, you're not going to have the critics screen it. People that go by reviews, they're going to say they didn't screen this for these critics, and a lot of people go by reviews these days. For good or ill.
We talked about that
especially the interactive ones like YouTube.
Yeah, we talked about that last time between people watching on Twitch.
About this several times,
yeah,
at least. People aren't as stupid as they think. I don't understand this. The audience in general might have a short-term memory, but they're not stupid. So you're doing stuff like this. This is a warning flag. Even if it's like the best thing ever, and you just don't want critics to see it before, that's going to turn some people off automatically.
So this also brings to question, does this mean that the original series and even Next Generation, were they lightning in a bottle? Are they ever going to be able to recapture that imagination that was contained in those series? Because people are, they talk about the original series and they talk about the Next Generation so with such reverence that it's put it on such a high pedestal that you would hope that this far into the future, how many years has it been since the Next Generation? I mean, Voyager was okay. People really liked Deep Space Nine. Nobody really liked Enterprise, especially with the intro being a sung song.
Nobody liked Enterprise. Yeah, people have grown to appreciate Voyager more. I think, and here's how it goes. For
sure,
with the exception maybe Generations or Next Generation, and that's because I was a kid at the time. Yeah, I didn't hear that many comparisons initially. Maybe once I got a little older, I did.
Right.
But when Deep Space Nine came out, they were like, "Oh, this sucks. This is terrible." Generations is where it's at. Then after Deep Space Nine, Voyager came out. Right? I think this is the order. Voyager came out, and they said that sucks. Why did they have to mess up Deep Space? Like, Deep Space Nine was good enough. They should have left it at that. And so then once Enterprise came out, they're like, well, Voyager in comparison wasn't that bad compared to Enterprise. So and that's the way it kind of feels. And you see that all the time. Sequels always with a few exceptions, like Terminator 2, for example. Right. They don't do that well, but they do make people remember the previous one fonder. So Maybe that's what's going to happen for Enterprise. This is going to be the worst thing ever. But are you saying that Star Trek in general, or this type of space exploration show? Because Orville's coming out, and that's the big contender for Star Trek, even though it's basically a parody / love letter to Star Trek. That's getting beloved reviews.
So here's the thing. So Seth MacFarlane wanted to do Star Trek really bad, and CBS said no. So he said, okay, fine, I'm going to go do this over here, and we're gonna make it, he wants it to be serious, but with some comedy. Not too much, because he wants it to be Star Trek. He wants it to be Star Trek so bad. And that's the thing is I hope that it keeps that passion, because that would be a great thing. If Star Trek had competition, Star Trek would have to step their game up. And it can't just be about the names of the people that you get there, because just think about the crew of the Next Generation, and none of them were very big before they started, except for maybe freaking what's his face? Jean-Luc Picard. Yeah, Patrick Stewart.
He wasn't even that well known.
He wasn't even that well known. That's what I'm saying. They had.
But yes, he's definitely exploded in popularity.
They grabbed Jason Isaacs. They grabbed the chick from Walking Dead. I can't remember her name. Her name escapes me. Michelle, was it Michelle Yeoh? Is she the female captain? Is it Michelle Yeoh? I'm trying to remember.
I don't remember.
I'll look it up. Anyways, they're spending this money on actors, and that's not always what makes a show. Star Trek: The Next Generation, for as bad as some of the material was a good show, because those actors were, doing well in their job and really making that show come to life. If you get a bunch of people that just are, picking up a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, what can we say? Yeah, it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky for them. And some of the comments that they've made, they before those shows even come out, they've bashed certain political sides or say, oh, well, these horrible aliens represent this political spectrum and stuff like that. Then you have the actors coming out, well, this isn't for fans. Well, you don't never want to say that. You're like, we want to do something that honors the traditions of the original shows and brings the spirit of them back, but we want to make it in a way where new people can come in and you don't have to know about the other, which out of everything, Star Trek is one of those shows that doesn't rely too much on previous knowledge. You don't need to have seen the original for generations.
Right.
You don't need to see. There's some characters that do come over for Deep Space Nine, like
Quark.
Q.
Quark and Q.
Quark is another one, yeah. But you don't need to know that much stuff.
So it was Sonequa Martin, who's from The Walking Dead, and it is Michelle Yeoh who's playing the female captain. And then, like I said, Jason Isaacs is in there as well. It's like those are big names. Those aren't small names. I think if they would have gotten people that actually wanted to break into the sci-fi genre in their start of their careers. Mistake number 2, like we said before on the show plenty of times when we talked about this, pigeonholing yourself between the original series and the Next Generation. Mm-hmm. It limits you in what you can do. You can't introduce new tech because you'll be like, well, but they didn't have that in Next Generation. That would have been handy in, that would have been great to have at the encounter at Farpoint. I mean,
yeah.
The
best way they could do it is it's some kind of experimental stuff that they whip together on the ship. That's a one-time use. And the guy builds it in a moment of kind of like Forge from the X-Men. He can build something, but he doesn't have blueprints and schematics of it. And then he's got this thing. He's like, this thing does this thing. I don't know how it does it. And maybe a one-time, that's the only thing you can do. And you're right, putting it as an interquill.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it, like prequel, sequel, interquill. It really limits you on what you can do. And you can't explore other potential.
Yeah.
No,
I get what you're
maybe
saying.
Maybe if they had said it alongside Next Generation, that probably would have been better, because I'm sure the Enterprise wasn't the only Enterprise that went out there. They're not like, okay, we're going to just send one ship out there to explore the unknown.
No,
because
they were Delta
space is
Quadrant
3D,
or whatever. They were Delta Quadrant or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so you got however many other quadrants that you could have.
There's 3 others.
Yeah.
Except for Alpha was, local known space. Anyways, but yeah, they really did pigeonhole themselves terribly in this, and hopefully they decide to say, you know what, maybe we made a mistake and we're gonna start next season and move it way forward past.
Bringing up next season is a good point, because that you said it's going to be kind of an anthology show where one season is going to deal with one ship.
Yeah.
So second season could deal with like another ship at another time period, or is it going to be all between those two?
The problem is it's going to all be between those two. They are serious. That's why I said they are severely pigeonholing Time Warp. All right.
Yeah.
There are not
Time Warp.
There are not a lot of good shows and movies that do Time Warp well, and I guess the new Star Trek movie series actually did it pretty well with Spock coming around. But anyways, so yeah. It's a bad mistake for them to not get some kind of critic review because it already shows bad faith.
I've got you another one.
Okay.
And it's going to suck. Downer endings. Every season, everybody on the ship dies.
Oh, there you go.
Any inventions, any potential inventions or explorations that they made, like
that's what I was thinking, because there would be no record of it. That would be the easiest way to hand wave it, and it'd be gone. So. Yeah. I don't know. They should have thought it through more, or there's no way they could. It would be so much easier to introduce new aliens if they went past Next Generation. So much easier. So I mean, Enterprise. Look at Enterprise didn't fare well. When did Voyager take place? Shortly after or during the same time Next Generation did? I don't remember. But
I don't remember either. I think it happened maybe just after.
People didn't like Enterprise. People did not like Enterprise.
I've never met somebody. So, I mean, at best, they've said, well, it was okay.
See, Voyager was after. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. Fortunately, I see Deep Space Nine was kind of special in a way because it was a space station. I mean, it could warp, I think, right? It could move around, but it was mainly supposed to stay at a hub, right?
So they had, I think so, but see, they had a lot of good storylines, too. They may have sucked for a few seasons, but, I think the last season or two that dealt with the Dominion Wars was very popular with fans.
I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed.
I've never watched it, so
dude.
Right?
You never seen it?
Yeah, I've never seen Deep Space Nine.
Well, I will say this: I haven't watched it since it was on air, and that was 20 years ago, at least. So, and I only managed to catch a handful of episodes, and I don't know why.
I take it back. I may have actually seen, because I think I've watched all of the Tribble episodes across all the series, because I like the Tribbles. There's one on one of my shelves up here.
I think I remember the one with the shapeshifter. What was it? I think he found his race or something.
Oh,
he was like the only one he knew about. I remember Quark. He had this deal where he would sell like X-rated Quark. Not Quark, hologram simulations, or whatever, holodeck simulations.
Great.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the last one that broke him of doing it, not him necessarily, but whoever was buying from him, is that it was like, if I remember correctly, it like panned up, and this girl was wearing this, it was like this attractive woman, and she was wearing this short dress and stuff, and then it got to her. It showed her chest and everything. Then it went to her face, and it was like Quark's face.
Right.
Like he was a Ferengi, right?
Ferengi. Yep.
Yeah, and so I think it was like a human or whatever, and he was like, "Ugh!" That kind of stopped the trend of those.
I think, speaking of holodecks, one of my most favorite, least favorite was whenever Picard would do the Sam Spade ones. I liked them, but they were so cheesy and his accent sucked.
I like the Sherlock Holmes ones.
Oh, those were good ones too. Him and Data, right? Data playing Watson. It was Data
on Forge, I believe.
Oh, it was Data on the Forge? Okay.
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Was it Data? I know it was Data.
All I remember is it was weird when they took away his visor in the movie.
Oh, yeah. That was weird.
So,
why did they do that?
I don't know.
I guess because it was supposed to be a few years after the show, and the tech had evolved. And it does make sense. Why didn't he have cyborg eyes at that point?
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, they had a whole android just, remembering everything for him, and his eyes worked just fine, and he could see. Maybe they never figured out how it wired up to the eyes. Who knows?
Maybe. I don't know, but I really enjoyed it. Now I kind of want to watch Fresh Contact again. That was good.
All right.
Organ Fusion on the ship?
Yeah.
The show's changed. We're just talking about
Star Trek now.
Star Trek,
All right.
the movie.
This is Star Trek. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the news because we got a couple of good things to talk about, including more space. But first, some X-Men. Hold on. Oh! Don't get me started on the costume designs, man.
What?
For Star Trek? Oh, there's some bad news about that. They are charging an arm and a leg for official gear for people that are cosplayers that want to dress up as the new Star Trek characters. Oh yeah, like hundreds of dollars just for the little communicator.
Somebody's going to build that themselves. They're going to build it. Listen, with 3D printing these days, you can't get away with that stuff.
But
unless they want that. What?
The problem is not with people making it. It's with freaking CBS or freaking Paramount going after individuals, especially the way they rapidly do after people that make TV shows. People cutting into profits. If they start making them for other people, they're going to get cease and desists. If you make it for personal use, that's fine, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's what people are going to do. They're going to be like, okay, well, I can spend $300 on this communicator or the symbol, or I watched this YouTube video on, hey, this is how you make it. I'm not telling you to make it. Not to mention
the fact that people have, well, we're continuing with the Star Trek talk, but people don't like the new uniforms either. So
yeah, see, here's the thing. I don't think anybody's going to be cosplaying too much of them.
I want the unitards again from the from the Next Generation.
Dude, it's a thing. Like, if you go to any convention, there's tons of props there, and that's the cool thing about a lot of companies is they're pretty cool with you selling stuff, especially if they don't make it.
But that's why I emphasize CBS and Paramount. They are rabid about that Star Trek stuff.
Like we've talked about it before, Funimation doesn't really care if you draw their characters and stuff. But if you use their logo, that's when they have to send cease and desist because that's because of copyright laws, and they will lose their copyright if they don't enforce that. Right. But if you draw like Goku-looking stuff, or you make like a Goku costume to sell to people, they really don't care about that.
On the broader terms,
and like I said, they don't make that stuff. If they sold it, then yeah, I see them being more aggressive about it. But
yeah, exactly. All right, so first thing we got was some big disappointment because this week. Marvel put out concept art. Well, Fox put out concept arts that were being used for the movies, for the X-Men series at large, from the very beginning to Apocalypse, which we'll have a bigger picture of him later, but he looks very nice in this picture. X-23 as a teenager there on the left, in a basically like a punk skirt outfit. Obviously female, but like she looks like she should at that age, I guess, being kind of angry. And then that's Beast in a pilot's outfit for
that's awful.
It looks terrible. So anyway,
now the X-23 one actually looks like one of the costumes I think she wore in the comics. Oh,
okay.
She when X-23 started out in the comics, she was kind of a obviously once she escaped the Department H or whatever its equivalent was for her, I think it was Department H, she had to make money walking the streets, but not necessarily in the way that automatically makes you think she used to like cut people for their pleasure. I think it's what it was. But yeah, I mean, and that's how teenage girls dress, right?
Yeah, sure. Especially the rebellious
I don't know.
one.
I'm not a teenage girl. I know I look cute enough to be one, but I'm not one.
Right.
The Beast thing, it looks so wrong.
Yeah, it does. And it's a concept, so it didn't actually get used. But, you know, I mean, that's the disappointment in this is the Apocalypse one looks great, and they didn't use it. They decided
the Apocalypse one is like so close to the original design, which is so cool. The Apocalypse armor and stuff in the comics is just so cool, especially Age of Apocalypse. I love like the comic Age of Apocalypse. I love his design on that.
All right, I popped the Wolverine picture, so you should see it now. You see, he's got the red and yellow uniform, or brown and yellow, right? Was the classic color was a brown and yellow, right? Or like
it's more of a brown and okay. So his original costume was like a yellow and black, or a yellow and blue, based on the coloring. And he actually had whiskers on the mask.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
But yeah, the one that a lot of people really love is the orange and brown one. I believe it is. It's like a really light orange, like almost a yellow.
Right.
But
and it looks. I mean, it's Wolverine. We know who Wolverine is. It's Hugh Jackman. It'll always be Hugh Jackman, and I don't think they'll ever be able to replace him ever. So
they won't be able to replace him for a while. It's going to be at least a couple more years, I think, before they try to, because they'll get such backlash, and even Fox isn't that stupid.
And they actually on the left side of the picture have the palette they use to do the coloring too. I didn't notice that.
You know, the more I look at this Wolverine outfit, though, the more it's kind of growing on me. I think they need less of the yellow in there. Maybe they need to put more of the orange to offset it.
Yeah,
but it's actually kind of growing on me as a concept.
Throw some orange on his belly or something. I know he's got
but you know, he has those the rib scratches or whatever. Or that's what I've always called them, but they're like the tiger marks.
Yeah.
Maybe have them run down or closer to his abs.
Right.
Or but overall, it's kind of growing on me.
All right, and the Jubilee costume. I like Jubilee. I know her animated series representation wasn't exactly the most exciting, but I think I like the darker version that they drew up here, as opposed to
this one. This is definitely the one from like Days of Future Past and the Future. I loved her in the 90s. I liked her power,
right?
And it's just, I don't know. They never really explored. They never let her get to her full potential. I feel because her powers are actually really devastating when she could fully utilize them. Not only that, but she was also immune to psychic abilities.
I mean, do you want...
At least until they forgot that she had that power.
Do you want her to throw a firecracker at your face?
Have you ever had a firecracker explode in your face? It hurts.
I don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yes, it's razzle-dazzle, but it makes a really annoying sound, but it's pretty potent of her abilities.
Right. All right.
But I always actually... the way it looked when they shot it off in the cartoon.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know, it's really good. It's better than some of the special effects we see in cartoons these days.
I'm torn because I think I like the Juggernaut from the animated series better than this one.
I hate this Juggernaut's outfit. Oh my goodness!
You want the big flat round helmet, right? The bowl he's wearing on his head.
I want my Juggernaut to be 7 feet tall and about 6 feet wide. I want the big dome. I want him to look just as ridiculous as he does in the comics, because he's also incredibly imposing in the comics. This seems like this is not Juggernaut, him hiding under a hood.
Yeah.
Juggernaut would never do that. Juggernaut...
I'm the Juggernaut.
It's like they didn't understand exactly how powerful he is.
Yeah.
It takes an entire team to take him down.
Right.
And they don't even do that. They have a team come together just to pry his helmet off. Now, I will note this. The mask that he has over the hood, it looked... Eventually, he got wise because he's stupid. He got wise to them prying off the dome and then using psychic powers on him. So he had like a sub-mask or sub-helmet underneath the big dome helmet.
Oh, okay.
It was like his sport to protect his mind from being psychically attacked.
Gotcha.
So that's what kind of looks like. It's like maybe that's him getting to his regular armor or something. I don't know. Because that's pretty much the only thing that he's vulnerable to psychic attacks, or if you throw enough Hulk at him. And that's iffy sometimes. That's absolutely iffy.
I got you.
Depending on the Hulk and everything.
All right, and I think this is the last one. Yeah, I think this is the last one, the Apocalypse one. It looks amazing. I don't understand why they didn't go with this. The detail in the armor. I'm gonna zoom in on the chest a little bit there. The armor plates on the outfit look really good. His collar and all that, and the cloth gaiter that he has on his neck, or whatever it is, around
it's
the neck
side. The big round thing. It's supposed to be armor.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess because it's technically part of his body. Oh, are you talking
the
about
part
the
that's actually on his neck? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not a happy person though, but he looks great compared to that big purple thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we keep talking over each other. Okay, so the if this was like a makeup test, the head especially looks absolutely amazing. They could always darken him up because he is a dark blue in the comics, but so I understand they could always use CGI to like darken up his colors. The armor does enough to reference his original design without like, okay, he doesn't have the big massive A. I can let that stuff slide. I'm not going to say, oh well, he doesn't have that. Can you zoom in on his crotch? Let's just go ahead and say it. Can you zoom in on his crotch some for us? Let's see if we can see that belt design better.
There you go. You should have it here in a second. It's got more chevrons to it, like his stomach does.
Yeah. So it looks like they have a hint of an A. So that's kind of neat.
Oh, you're talking about right above the belt, right?
I'm talking about like the belt buckle.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. But it looks like they have a hint of an A. He didn't have it on his stomach or anything. That was just body armor. So you can zoom out whenever you want if you want. But and here's the thing: they were like, well, we're trying to reference ancient Egypt. Okay, well that's all well and good, but guess what? He spent time in England and Asia and all these other places. Because guess what? He's about 2,000 years old. I don't think he's going to stay in one country for 2,000 years.
Right.
Even if you discount him hibernating for sometimes 50 or 100 or several hundred years. But and the other thing is that a lot of his power boosts in the weaponry and tech came from the Celestials. Obviously, Fox wouldn't be able to reference the Celestials, but they could have referenced something.
Yeah.
They could have referenced Kang. They could have implied something where not only is he the most powerful mutant I've ever seen, but his weaponry, it has to be from space or whatever. It's not of this world.
Right.
They could. It's easy to you spend multi-million dollars and thousands of dollars on writers, and I just gave you a quick hand wave there.
Yeah. Just looking at all these, they should have done that. They should have stuck with what they had designed, because man, some of the choices they made, they seem like they're made for no reason.
Right.
Honestly, they had the resources already. What's the problem?
We have seen cosplayers do better costume designs than these multi-million-dollar companies. And the long and short of it is, I'll give you two examples. Anybody that could pull off the Captain America outfit live action, like Chris Evans did, or, which, to be fair, this came after the fact, the Wonder Woman outfit. In live action and have it be believable. Those are two of the most ridiculous costumes of serious characters. And obviously, there's people like
those. Those are really good examples of how they faithfully upgraded those armors compared to what they used to be. Because Captain America used to be like blue tights and stuff, right? Or just they look terrible. They didn't have depth. When they added the 3D depth of an actual person, they made the armors look faithful to the original, but actually look like they are feasibly something that would protect a super being,
Right, yes. So, yeah, his armor did start out more like as a padded costume in a way.
Right.
In the original comics, more or less, people. Because of the technology back then, art-wise, was not what it is today. Then it evolved into, like, scale mail type of stuff. Ugh. And now it's obviously some super tech of like collapsible Kevlar, titanium rods, or whatever you want to say, and the scales.
You want to know who wears scales but is worthless? I'll give you a hint. He talks to dolphins. All right. Every chance I get.
You gotta read some of the newer stuff.
I don't want to learn about a guy that talks to fish. All right.
He doesn't talk to them. Anyways, that's not even there. But either way, they managed to make not only that, but they referenced the Goofy, the really classic Captain America. I think because when he was
when he was doing the stage tour,
he had the wings, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So they even referenced that, but then they gave him the serious modern suit,
right,
in World War II, and it looked like, it looked fine being next to people more or less dressed as regular soldiers. Obviously, Dum Dum Duncan with his bowler hat.
Oh my God!
In common.
I love the Howling Howlers, man. They're great.
Huh?
The Howling Howlers, they're great. Isn't that what it is? That's
Howling Commando.
Howling Commandos. Thanks. My bad.
And Wonder Woman, for love it or hate the movie or consider it mediocre,
I still haven't seen it.
She looks really good.
Yeah.
She looks really good and you can almost take it. I mean, and she's in basically a bikini, a one-piece bikini. Obviously, it's battle armor and all blah blah blah.
With a skirt and some armor, yeah.
Yeah, but if they can pull those costumes off, then there's no reason you shouldn't have been able to pull off Apocalypse. And here's the thing: if you have a guy walk up first thing in the movie looking like this, and the audience laughs at him, and the next thing he turns his arm into a massive cannon, or he grows 50 feet and then smashes the X Mansion,
yeah,
and bats people away like they're nothing, then the audience is going to take him serious. If your characters take him serious and he shows that he's serious, then the audience, it's called suspension of belief, people.
Suspension of disbelief.
Well, yeah, okay. Disbelief. I apologize.
No,
we're both messing up today.
It's fine. Anyways, all right. So let's see. What else we got? You want to go ahead and take the next one here? And
yes. So this one, I think we mentioned months ago. I don't remember if we did.
We did.
So Netflix's Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters teaser trailer dropped. I've seen the trailer. Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay.
Did they mess it up?
The picture's up. I don't know what to think of this, to be honest with you. The animation's pretty smooth.
Do they have shadows?
Kind of.
Oh, okay.
I mean, okay, let's take this picture, for example. Look at Stretch. He's right in the front. You see by his neck and shoulder, there's a shadow there.
There is a
shadow.
Look
at the big guy right here with the red armor. He's got a shadow there. Guess what that implies, people? That implies depth to his size.
So they're already better than the Spider-Man cartoon. Okay.
So at least this still frame. This isn't a frame. This is just this is probably a test drawing. Shows that they've put more work into this character than they did with the Spider-Man. Right. So this is actually the fourth attempt at correction. They've tried films for Stretch Armstrong 4 times. God. So Hasbro then made the deal with the streaming site Netflix, where the property was picked up for a full 26-episode animated series, making it the first deal between the company and the streaming site. This superhero action comedy animated series will follow an overscheduled teenager named Jake Armstrong and his 2 best friends as they go into action when the trio accidentally, which I think that's pretty much the same word, are exposed to an experimental chemical making them flexible and become Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters, a team of stretchable superheroes who must work together and embark on a series of adventures to expand beyond the confines of their lives. They have one of the creators of Spectacular Spider-Man, which is one of the most popular animated versions of Spider-Man yet. So the series might be pretty good. The action's fairly fluid in the teaser trailer. I don't really like the character designs.
It's
military.
It's interesting. I mean, the green dude's got abs.
So what it is that Stretch can obviously stretch his limbs. The other guy can increase his mass. And I forget what the third guy does. I guess he grows the wings. I had the names listed in my notes, and I think I accidentally deleted them. But so here's the thing: I was reading up on this, right? And the 4 attempted films for Stretch Armstrong, they're literally the same plot each time. And so I don't know why they keep going for this overscheduled teenager. I guess because he's stretched out, or whatever.
Right.
The stupid plot's going to be. But it's like, why are you going with that same thing each time? It just really threw me for a loop that they kept throwing the they didn't accept it this time, but let's throw the exact same plot at them and see if this movie studio's going to pick it up.
Let's see if it sticks.
So this month, IDW Publishing announced a new comic based off the Netflix series Stretch Armstrong and the Flex Fighters for January 2018. IDW Publishing is pretty decent overall on the comic output. I believe they do Ghostbusters. They've done some. I think have done TMNT Ninja Turtles lately, that kind of thing. So I don't know. They did really good with Voltron. Have you seen Voltron yet?
I have not. They're already on their second season, right?
I bet. Huh?
They're already on their second season, right?
Third season.
Third season, really?
I think they're about to release their third season. Or they already have. But I think your son will love it. Your son will absolutely love it. If your daughter is into cute little animal things, they do have those in there.
Okay.
And it's legitimately funny. In fact, to go off on a tangent, I decided to break down and watch Skylanders the other day.
How was it?
I actually kind of enjoyed some of it. The animation's a little bit, and I don't like Spyro's voice, but I actually kind of enjoyed some of the dialogue between some of the characters. So they had a super strict character go through Spyro's room. And he's like, "You play video games, but those make you lazy." And he's like, "Actually, statistics show that it increases hand-eye coordination and goal-setting skills for individuals." And then the guy threw his games and stuff out.
Right.
And then he had this issue. He's like, they were going to be tasked with a plumbing job, and he's like, "We'll take care of this plumbing issue." He said, "Plumbing? It has a B in it." And so they had this little dialogue. He's like, "No, it's plumbing. You don't say crumba."
Crumba? Oh my god.
Obviously, it's not funny. I say dialogue, but it was actually kind of a surprisingly witty back and forth that I wasn't expecting. But both on, because even though it's based off a video game series, I didn't expect them actually mention real world statistics and be like, "Hey, these people actually know a little bit of stuff," as opposed to the cliche that video games make you lazy.
Right.
And out of shape, even though we're both fat and lazy.
Right. Oh, speak for yourself.
Because we're old, okay? We're old and out of touch with today's youth.
Yeah, no. We're becoming those people?
Yeah, we can't do the skateboard and the extreme graffiti and whatever the kids are into these days, like hopscotch or whatever.
Or 15 and pregnant.
Or 15, yeah. I can't be 15 and pregnant.
Jeez.
All my hopes and dreams are dashed.
All right, let's go ahead and hit this last article. This is exciting. This is exciting news, everybody, for everybody that loves Star Wars movies. Except for Mitch might not like this a little. J.J. Abrams has been selected to write and direct Star Wars Episode 9 after Disney relieves Colin Trevorrow of his duties as director. And this is coming from Disney, but obviously the big lady in charge of the Star Wars franchise and the Lucasfilm in general is Kathleen Kennedy. She said Colin Trevorrow was difficult to work with. This is very familiar. We just covered something like this not too long ago. I think you might have remembered. Philip Lord and Christopher Miller got fired from the Han Solo movie because they were... she cited they didn't understand the Han Solo character and that he wasn't comedic, but he was selfish and sarcastic. And I happen to agree with what she says. As much as we may give Kathleen Kennedy some hard times with some of the choices that are made with those Lucasfilm properties, she seems to know what the heck she's talking about.
That's actually really good. Yeah, he is not a joke character. He just gets in these ridiculous situations. He is a very legit smuggler. Yeah. And if they keep some of the expanded universe canon, he is a former lieutenant, at least a lieutenant, or if not captain, right? Maybe a captain for the Empire. Yeah. So he's a very not stormtrooper, but he's supposed to be a very well trained individual. He just happens to get these ridiculous situations, like falling into a garbage disposal unit, being blinded, and then taking out one of the most notorious bounty hunters in the galaxy.
Right.
Getting frozen in carbonite. He just gets into these ridiculous situations, but they're very serious punishments and consequences to these actions and inactions for him. He's not.
What? Sorry.
He's not. What's the character I'm looking for? He's not Chris Pine. He's not
Chris Rock.
He's not Star-Lord.
Oh, he's not Star-Lord. Chris Pratt. Yeah. Okay.
And the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, who's kind of a joke character that treats everything like a joke. These are serious issues. Not paying Jabba back was a serious issue, and it dogged him for all of the movies.
Yeah, he was always still trying to pay that debt off,
and he was and that's what's so frustrating to me. And when they're like, "Oh, why are you abandoning us?" He's got a bounty on his head, people.
Yeah, he's
got a very serious bounty on his head.
He's doing what most people do, and that's called looking out for number one.
If you guys had paid him sooner, or if he had more time on his hands, he probably would have come back either way.
Yeah,
Yeah, and so I really feel bad for him because he sacrificed a lot in comparison to some. Of course, yes, he did end up with Leia and everything. He
made himself.
But he didn't become a.
He made himself more of a target. I mean, not only was he just a guy on the loose, being bounty hunted by people that were working for Jabba. Eventually, he even had the Empire sending out bounty hunters on him.
Right, yeah. I mean, he became like just a minor annoyance, like a 2-bit from the Empire's perspective, obviously. Yeah. Just a 2-bit criminal that, we have plenty. If he's not going to ever be an issue for us again. He's considered a general in the Rebel Army.
Yeah.
And he's got one of the best, not necessarily the fastest ship, because it went by parsec, so that meant he had the most efficient navigating computer because it was able to plan the most efficient and dangerous routes.
Right.
That's what they mean when that's what they mean by fastest ship in the galaxy.
Yeah, I should have worn my Kessel Run shirt. So back to the main point. J.J. Abrams did pretty well with Episode 7. I enjoyed it. My son enjoyed the heck out of it after not having seen too many Star Wars movies until recently. But he knows of because he's watched the Clone Wars. Yeah, he's watched the Clone Wars. He loves the Clone Wars. He thought it was a great series.
It was a good series. The Clone Wars cartoon was very well done.
So he kind of gets what's going on, who's who, and I mean he's 9 now, so he's starting to grasp more. But he really enjoyed this last movie, and he actually really enjoyed Rogue One, which, I mean, that's a throwaway title. That's something that just happened, and you didn't know about until you'd watched that movie. You didn't know exactly how it happened and what else was going on, which is nice because they pull in a lot of stuff from the old lore that got thrown out and reuse some of it. But anyways, I think in J.J. Abrams' hands, it'll be pretty good.
Here's my biggest complaint about J.J. Abrams. I got 2 complaints.
Hold on. Here's a good thing before you lay on the bad. He worked with Carrie Fisher in the Episode 7, so he knows Carrie Fisher. Mm-hmm. I can't help but think that he's probably going to throw something, even to be defiant, to throw something in there for Carrie Fisher. Even though that Kathleen Kennedy said that she won't be featured in that movie, he'll find a way. I mean, you look at
he might make a reference, or maybe like
a reference, something,
a hollow statue like they have in KOTOR, the online game.
Yeah, he'll put something in there. Remember, what was it? The very first battle scene of the first Star Trek movie that he did. I think it was R2-D2's floating around in space somewhere in the wreckage. Mm-hmm. And there was, I think the Enterprise actually showed up in Episode 7 somewhere as a ship that was just flying in the background, or it was, I can't remember what it was. There is something in there from Star Trek. So he's thrown some stuff in there. He'll find some way to throw something in there for that too.
Here's the thing, and it's, people may feel that it's unfair and hurtful, but other people have portrayed Princess Leia before. Voice work, yes. Obviously not in the movies, but the problem is she was... And didn't they say they already filmed her... this is for episode 9. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm thinking ahead of
her
myself.
Stuff's already done for 8, or most of it.
I think her story, unless they... it's a guess, but unless they killed her off in 8...
Yeah.
Her family story is still going on.
Right.
And I don't know where they're going to go with 9 until we know where they go with 8. We're still speculating on that. There's wonders about whether Luke is going to wield a lightsaber or not. I'm hoping that he's at such a masterful level that he doesn't really need one. I'm just waiting for Luke to... because he should. We need to see the old master come and absolutely curb stomp and humble some of these new characters.
December 15th.
Here's my main complaint with J.J. Abrams is... But here's the thing that's not fair for her. That's not fair for her as a character to say, oh yeah, Princess or Queen Leia died between 8 and 9 and just wave it off. That's not fair to that character.
Yeah.
And if they give us the she died of a broken heart crap, like they did in 3, somebody's going to get slapped. Because that is stupid. That's doing disloyalty to these characters. And I know from a certain perspective, they're only there to make money, yes. But, you built this universe. You can't just say, oh, well, they died off. They died off.
I mean,
you've got this...
Very easily, Carrie Fisher could have said, I don't want to come back. And they would have gone on without her because she meant that much to that part. They wouldn't have recast her. They would have just not used Princess Leia. So
right, well, yeah, they had they had that chance earlier, but she's now so established that
I know. That's what said. I was talking about the loyalty thing. I mean, she showed loyalty by coming back. They're not. Yeah. They shouldn't do a disservice like you said, or like he said, crash transport in between episodes or something. They need to show something.
I'm sorry, I didn't see that comment.
Oh, yeah, he said exactly what you were mentioning. So I thought you had read that.
Offhandedly, yes, if she said if she said that she didn't want to come back or something, I mean, I don't know, because I don't know. I don't think they would have recast her. And they may not. So but maybe they should. It sucks.
Yeah.
There's some characters. There's some people like we said, Wolverine. Wolverine's not going to be recast for years, at least. I bet you. Smart. Next 2 or 3 years, they're probably going to be in the talks because they're going to need to keep that IP. So they're going to keep that rumbling.
Right.
I don't know. I think somebody else could have. I'm probably going to get so much hatred for this. Somebody else could have portrayed Leia.
I mean, they could have. I'm not saying they couldn't have recast her. I don't think they would have. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think J.J. Abrams would have recast her. But if they tell him not to do something, he might do it.
Yeah, but he's J.J. Abrams.
I thought the Star Trek films were good. I thought they were okay. To be honest with you, my thing is I hate his lens flares. Everything has a freaking lens flare on it, and it gets annoying.
Yeah, his Star Trek films were fine. But but that's his signature. I mean,
I understand 1 or 2, but when I'm looking at the screen and there's 6 lens flares on there, no. Especially in the Star Wars universe, where a lot of the stuff isn't supposed to be the shiny Star Trek stuff, just off the showroom floor.
Right.
This stuff has got wear and tear on there. So I shouldn't, when they do a zoom in on the inside of the Millennium Falcon, it's supposed to have rust and fabric being torn down. It's supposed to be like your dad's old 70s Chevrolet or whatever,
Right.
It's it still runs. It's not supposed to be all pristine and polished constantly. There's supposed to be dirt, foot stains on the floor where they walk with their boots in. Right. Chewie's hair is probably shedded and gotten everywhere. I mean,
gross.
Everybody's had a hairy dog. Could you imagine a 7'4" shag carpet constantly walking around? Hairs everywhere. How did Leia even wear white all the time?
It's the future in the past. They had amazing technology. The hair didn't come out, or they had filters.
I guess they had the little mouse droids running around, so maybe they are the Roombas of the future.
Yeah,
but they could get scared by them, so I don't know.
All right. Well, let's hit
the... that show. Ugh. Could you imagine the hairballs from Chewie?
Oh my god.
Maybe that's why he was just growling the entire movie. He had a hairball stuck. Everybody's just like, oh yeah, that's just the way the Wookiees talk.
That's right, people. This is the East Coast Geek podcast where we answer all the disgusting questions of the sci-fi series Star Wars. All right, let's go ahead and hit the games. We've only got one thing there, and we can wrap this up for the day. As soon as I wake up my tablet here.
So in the meantime, while he's doing that, I am going to fill the dead space by talking and saying this sentence. Didn't episode 9 get pushed back to 2019? Episode 8? Yeah, didn't you say episode 8 this December?
Episode 8's coming this December, and that got pushed further into 2019 at the end. They were going to release it in May of this year, but then they pushed everything back. Yeah, 7 or 8 was supposed to come out in May of this year, or June, somewhere in there. It was supposed to be close to Star Wars Day. That's why.
Now that would have been the cool thing is if they do it like May 4th.
They were shooting for the original release date for Star Wars.
They should do that for episode 9.
Yeah, well, they're not going to because we're getting it in I think December. So, all right.
Well, I mean, okay, it's okay. It's almost become a tradition for Star Wars to be in December anyway. At this point.
Yeah, at this point.
A short term, it's tradition, but. Tradition nonetheless.
Well, we're about to hit 3 movies out in a row, 3 years in a row.
So, how many movies has to be released on a certain month to be a tradition?
I don't know.
How many? You think?
3?
3?
I guess. I mean, Lord of the Rings did it. The Hobbit did it. They all had similar release dates. So.
All right, 3 movies. So now it's going to be a tradition this year officially.
Yep. All right, here comes the thing.
All right.
How appropriate being a Nintendo title. Nintendo Direct was this week. The 13th. It was 2 days ago. And it went swimmingly, I suppose?
I haven't seen, I don't know if it hasn't sunk in. The biggest thing, which we don't have a photo of it, is the Pokemon 2DS XL that was announced, really cool. Which looks amazing.
Yeah, that looks really good. I like it. I showed it to the wife because our daughter's probably is going to be due because she's been using one of the regular square 2DSs. But she's getting up there. Maybe being... God, she's 7. I don't know. It's been so long. I'm too old. She's getting to that age where she could go out and be the very best, like no one ever was. She'd probably do better than Ash.
Is she ready for it to be...
What's that?
Well, I was going to say, 10 years old is when they leave home. It says so on TV.
So Christopher will be doing that next year. Yep. Sounds good. Actually, the Star Wars, just to catch up because I didn't look it up right away. The release date for Episode 9 is May 24th, 2019. The original release date for Star Wars Episode 4 was May 25th, 1977. So they are trying to nail it. They're gonna hit it real close. So, anyway, sorry. Back to the Nintendo stuff. Yeah, the Pokemon 2DS looks great. Some of the other big news out of there, which kind of wasn't because we knew Skyrim was coming, but what we didn't know was Bethesda was going to pop out both Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus and Doom on the Switch. That's a huge surprise, considering the fact that both of those games are R-rated for the most part. One of them you're killing demons in Mars/Hell, and the others during World War II, and BJ doesn't really not swear. So those are interesting.
Not swear.
Yeah, he doesn't really not swear. It's in every sentence. It's something they need. They need third party, and I think they're realizing that finally. I mean, they did have some third party stuff last time around during the Wii U, and maybe the Wii. I can't remember. I know. Yeah, the Wii had what did I play? I played one of the I think Call of Duties or Medal of Honors on there. But this is this is kind of surprising because of the nature of the two games that are there. Skyrim, not so much, but like I said, that was during the launch announcement, or the hey, we're making this thing now. Skyrim was in there, so we already knew that was coming. But it's also going to be the Skyrim Special Edition, which means it'll have all the DLC and everything, which is kind of cool. That should be good for nice long road trips, as long as you got something to plug the darn thing into.
And we give it a hard time, but Skyrim is pretty fun. I've been playing through it again on PC, and I'm really enjoying it.
I'm ready for the next.
I am absolutely ready for the next one, and I really want them to put in a mission, kind of like the mansion mission.
Yeah, that was the other thing. L.A. Noire, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2.
I'm not that excited about the Revelations. L.A. Noire, Wolfenstein, Doom, I like all three of those. I've never played L.A. Noire, but I've seen some Let's Plays. It does look fun, except for the tar pit scene.
Sleeping Dogs would be a good travel game, too.
Yeah.
And Red Steel 1 and 2 are pretty good ideas as well. Thanks for that, Mirage Leonard.
Obviously they haven't. They've had like R-rated games before. Again, we hype Eternal Darkness all the time. That was extremely rated R.
Man, that'd be great.
I would love a HD remake of that.
It needs
to. So, as you mentioned real quick, it looks like they're trying to get their third-party support back, and they're starting with some older games like the Doom and the Special Edition Skyrim. Wolfenstein 2, the New Colossus, is going to be a newer game.
Right.
And, you have to remember, they did burn some bridges, either purposely or accidentally, years ago during the end of the Super Nintendo era, because they were pretty much the only game in town.
Right.
Yes, there was Sega, but they were Nintendo.
Yeah.
So when the NES came out, they set their rules. A publisher could only release 5 games. Obviously, some people found a loophole using dummy corporations like Ultra Games. Konami owned Ultra Games.
Right.
But they were the only ones that manufactured the cartridges, and it worked out for Nintendo and those companies because they were quality control.
Right.
They managed to control those. That's why everybody remembers so many Nintendo games so fondly. Yeah, there was a lot of sucky ones and ones that were hard because of limitations, but they were good games. But they kind of went overboard, and I guess they got prima donna-ish. Would that be a little egotistical about it? And then when the PS1 came out, that's pretty much when they realized, oh goodness, we've got some competition. So it's nice that it seems like they're finally learning from their mistakes, in some ways. And
I think they need to explore. They need to explore it a little more and try and flesh everything out, because it could be a great system, a great competitor for the other systems, especially with the travel aspect. That was a great thing for them. I just, like I said, I always question the ability of the system, because when you dock it, it's not doing anything but putting a conversion on it to send it to a TV. It's not doing anything different than a laptop dock does. So it's it's still based on that processor. Speculation
that we were hoping that when you plug it in, you got boosting the processors or whatever you want to say.
Yeah, which didn't happen, and that was disappointing. So. And like I said, I question the power of that system in general. So I'll be curious to see what everything looks like. And everybody's been raving. They said Zelda looks great on it. People are loving Splatoon 2 that just came out not too long ago. So
people are loving Splatoon. People have talked good things about ARMS.
Right.
Mario Odyssey looks good. It looks weird, but it looks good. Yeah. Breath of the Wild is an amazing game. Most disappointing final boss in years from me.
Spoilers.
But everything else was absolutely amazing about it.
Right.
And the overall plot wasn't that great either. But the characters they had, even though they were relatively cliche, the big guy was the fun, confident, strong guy. You know, you had the egotistical guy, then you had the teen mom in a way, but they had such great personalities that it was hard to hate them or consider them bland. They were really fun. Here's the thing that got me. You know, there was a lot of other good announcements. There were some Kirby announcements. I'm a sucker for Kirby. Kirby's such a really fun character. The Arcade Archives. Did you see that part of it?
No, I didn't.
I did.
Is it more of the old stuff?
Yeah, it's more the old stuff, and it's not like the virtual console. Really, it's like they're releasing versus modes of some games. But
really,
this is my thing. It's like, okay, I bought the original Super Mario Brothers at least 6 times. Let's see, we've got the original from the NES, then we've got the Super Mario All-Stars on Super Nintendo. I've got it on my 3DS. I've got it on my Wii, and I think I've bought it on Wii U. So at least 5 times.
I have a
that I can name off the top of my head.
I have an NES Classic Edition. We need to bring that up too after we're done with this one. Really quick as an additional.
So why? Like, I guess this is impressive, but why announce this? It's like, okay, hey, here's a bunch of games we've already released 15 times for you to buy.
But
this time
they're taking a number from Bethesda.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my thing is like, okay, release it, but why announce in like a Nintendo Direct when it's supposed to have all this other cool new stuff, and then you're like, oh, by the way, hey, these games you've bought, the same game you bought over the last 30 years, you're getting it again, but this time we've unlocked the versus mode on it, which it was already on from the other games,
right?
You know, with very little new added,
right? Yeah, I don't know. I that's an interesting choice for sure, and maybe they think it'll pay off, but some people just get nostalgic and then continue to buy stuff. You know, I'm looking at you and the stuff behind you.
Listen, I'm a sucker for nostalgia stuff. I love buying the retro stuff. I love playing retro games. I mean, you see my Steam catalog, and it's games that look retro. You know, Darkest Dungeon obviously doesn't really look retro, but it kind of plays retro to me. Rogue Legacy. Here, give me a second. Let me pull up my. I've got like Shantae's. I've got Sega Mega Drives and Genesis Classics. I've got
Death Road to Canada.
Death Road to Canada, which is a great game, I'm telling you. I've got the Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of Mysteria, the Disney Afternoon Collection.
There you go.
The Skya.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely. Listen, I'm one of the biggest proponents of retro games and re-releasing some of the old games that this new generation of players will miss.
Right.
But I don't know. This just I don't know why this. Smash Brothers Bayonetta 3. Where can Bayonetta go from there? She's already beaten gods and like super angels and stuff. I don't know where else she can go.
More gods and more super angels.
From a story perspective, obviously they can always refine the combat, which was crazy. And Smash Brothers 5 announcement. I don't know if they're. Do you think they should do another Smash Brothers already? It feels like the last one just got released. How long ago was it?
It's been a while. It has been a while. Yeah.
I don't think I bought it when it first came out. Maybe that's what's throwing me off.
What was it called? Smash Brothers what? What was the subtitle?
Wii U.
Is it Wii U?
It wasn't like Genocide or Overkill. You know how it was like Melee and Brawl and stuff? It wasn't like Final Knockdown or Counterattack or whatever.
Oh, wasn't it? Wasn't it Super Smash Bros. Brawl? Was that it?
I know.
No, it did say Super Smash Brothers. Okay. For 3DS and Wii U. 2014, dude. It's been 3 years.
God!
It's been 3 years. I mean, that's better than, let's see, well, it was 2008 the last time. Remember, that's when Brawl came out, and then 2001 when Melee came out.
Yeah.
And then Super Smash Bros. In 99. Holy crap, that was a long time ago.
You're telling me the original Smash Bros. Came out like 1999?
1999. Yep, Super Nintendo 64.
I feel sick to my stomach.
We actually, on the last episode, we talked about the Secrets of Mana remake. Neither of us had played it, but we're very interested in it, especially with it coming on the Super NES Classic.
It's also coming to the PC.
Right, but it's going to be on the PC.
Which I'm totally buying it for that. I don't know if the original Secret of Mana is on the Virtual Console or not, but I might be willing to pick it up because I'm a big sucker for. And this is another reason I'm really a proponent of retro games coming out, because there's so many I missed when I was a kid. Like I didn't get to play through the Darkwing Duck game when I was a kid. I didn't get to play Secret of Mana or Breath of Fire because those weren't the type of games I was into then.
Did you know
they're really good?
Did you know that Bayonetta was a DLC for the 3DS Wii U one?
Yes, and because here's the thing. I think we talked about this on the show 15 years ago, a million years ago. So what happened is that they voted. They were like, okay, the fans get to pick.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was like Banjo-Kazooie, Shantae, all these characters, and they're like, they were too hard to get, so we just went with Bayonetta because we had her. So it's like, okay, why? Why don't you have like, okay, these are the characters you can pick from and vote from there. These are the ones that.
Right.
Well, the original DuckTales was challenging, and DuckTales. I own DuckTales Remastered, and I own it like the retro version on the Saturday. I actually own the NES version still too.
Oh my god, I remember those days.
But yeah, so that's what pissed me off about. I'm sorry for my language, but that's what really annoyed me about that DLC, because the cloud is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that Okami is. I think that's still just a rumor. I don't know if they finally fully announced it.
All right, so I'm going to rein us back in. The last thing we're going to cover here, we don't have any pictures for because this is like an impromptu thing. I posted an article on the Facebook page this week. Nintendo has come out and said that due to overwhelming demand, in addition to the fact that they are supposed to be producing more of the Super NES Classic systems, they are now also going to publish or reproduce again the NES Classic Edition that I have sitting on the shelf here, in sometime next year, and they'll run it, and then they'll run it into the ground until it's done. Once the stock sells out, that'll be it again. For now, my hope is that I can get a hand on the Super NES Classic. I'm really hoping I can. I didn't get to play that generation of that system. I never owned a Super NES, so.
I owned one for a little bit, yes, and Yoshi's Island was great. You've never played the original Yoshi's Island? That's not on this game, though.
Nope. I thought it was. I'll have to look it up offline. I'm not worried about that, but yeah. So there'll be the opportunity to get the NES Classic again, which is awesome because I do like it. I just wish it had longer cords. So.
Well, hopefully they fix that with the Super Nintendo, and maybe with NES version 2, they fix that as well.
Yeah.
Because that is one of the big issues. And here's the thing: I will even compromise if they keep the console cable short.
Right.
Extend the cables connecting to your TV or your adapters or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be a fair compromise. Or make sure that it is original Nintendo durable when you're bouncing up and down, swinging stuff. I don't have a PS4 anyway, so I don't know why I'm worried about the Okami thing. I don't have a PS4 yet anyway. I need to get one for Kingdom Hearts 3 if they ever bother to release it.
All right, let's close out the show here. Thank you for everybody that showed up. We greatly appreciate you guys stopping by, especially the newcomers that have stopped by, like Mirage Leonard over on Twitch, and those of you in the YouTube chat as well. Thanks, Adam, for participating. We greatly appreciate it.
Now play Chrono Trigger. Thanks.
Please leave us feedback on our show wherever you can get it from. Leave us comments, and we'll answer you. I stole that from you, Mitch. Sorry. And don't forget to check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/StasisGeek. Just like the studio name on the pages on YouTube and Twitch. And help us out any way you can.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Since you're stealing all my stuff. Okay, hey, if you don't have any money like me, then you can always share our stuff. That would appreciate it. So give us those likes, because I can eat thumbs up, actually, on YouTube. That's one of the things that I've managed to work out a deal with YouTube, is that they will send me copies of the Thumbs Up on paper, and I eat the paper. But it comes out of my printer. I have to pay for the ink and the paper, so I don't know who's winning that. Either way, you can contact us at ECG_podcast on Twitter and our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/ECGpodcast, or our Gmail address at ECGpodcast@gmail.com. Also visit our webpage, www.stasisgeek.com. That's STASISGEEK.com. Or post a comment on the video, and we will probably totally read it, because Jeremy already said that. And other content's coming. Like I've written at least one book review, because apparently I talk too much. If you haven't noticed on this chat, we have the unboxing briefs that we do, and we got a couple other things. I mean, both he and I stream on Twitch every now and then. He more than I. So, yeah, we got other content coming besides you just listening to us rant and rave on here. There's other ways you can listen to us or see us or read our rant and raves, I should say.
Right, and eventually, I promise, at some point I will do a little more. I've been preoccupied finishing up my master's, so I haven't had a lot of time to write anything in addition to papers. So I'll get around to writing something.
Tell you what, he will start posting his papers on the page, so you guys can steal them for your masters.
No, they're terrible.
All right. Well, hey, we didn't say they'd be good papers now, did we?
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks again for everybody stopping by, and we'll be back next week. Until then, stay geeky.